Hey there, I'm Ryan.
I'm Will.
And I'm Ivan.
And tonight, we review the third installment of Rise and Fall. This is the podcast where we watch reality TV, so you don't have to. Welcome to episode 8 of It's Just a Game. Hello and welcome to episode 8 of It's Just a Game, the podcast where we watch reality TV, so you don't have to. Every week, I'm joined by friends Wilf and Ivan. Hello, Wilf. How are you?
I am very, very dead good. Simple.
Fair. What about you, Ivan? How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm great. I'm really bloody great. I'm great. I'm very happy. First time in 2 years I've had a bloody haircut. I don't know why I don't know why you're accusing me of not being fine, because I am fine. I'm definitely fine. I went in there. I said I still want to wear a top knot because it's very important to me and my hair's long. And he was like, "Yeah, I understand." And I said, I think I said that, or maybe I said, "Can you make me look like I'm called Karen?" And what they've done here is I mean, if you're listening, you can't see this, but I've got a choppy bob. I've got a lovely sort of...
I think it looks alright.
Loose...
It's funny how a man with scissors can single-handedly ruin your brand image.
To be fair, I never had a brand image.
I feel like you could definitely play a character in like Gladiator or something like that.
Anyway, right, you know these people, you know Wilf, you know Ivan, you know myself, but we have this week 2 exceptional guests as well. James and Marina, the 2 of the most iconic players of the series of Rise and Fall, will be joining us in just a few minutes. But first, we need to talk about the past week's episodes. Now, if you're just joining us, this podcast is all about reality games. Every week, we'll look at the smartest moves, the most silly moments, and the hottest tea on your favorite reality TV shows. Tonight, we continue looking at Channel 4's hottest social experiment by the makers of The Traitors. It's called Rise and Fall, and we look at episodes 12 to 15. As always, be warned, we are entering a spoiler zone. If you haven't seen episodes 1 to 15 of Rise and Fall, go away and come back when you're done. If you've seen it, stay here and get ready for a dramatic episode. Now, as we've got a lot to discuss, and I'm going to switch it up this week because so much happened in the past week. There was a plot twist every 12 minutes. So I'm just going to ask you, not who your favorite player is, I just want to know what your favorite moment was. Ivan.
It's tough to choose, but for me it has to be the sort of the whole scene where Sophie Corcoran got risen, and she'd made this thing where Joas and Sam were going to vote in a triangle, and then she broke it, which was kind of good strategy, but it was pretty mean, and you saw his face go as Joas realised that that's what she'd done. Then they had to go away and have a little chat about who they were going to bring up, and they decided to bring up Isaac. But then when they came back, he tried to confront her about it, and she just gaslit him. And it was the most amazing...
Yeah, she literally was talking about something else.
Yeah. No. Listen. This was the most amazing thing I've ever seen on TV. Because she... No, I'll give it to her. She's really smart. She knew exactly what she was doing. And it was so effective because she never had to deny it. She never had to say, "You're right, I did this thing wrong, I lied to you." She just kept on pretending it was about rock, paper, scissors until the guy literally got so aggressive they had to take him off the show. Now, in the end, if you watch it back, maybe we didn't see everything, but I think she was being more aggressive than him. Nevertheless,
there was a bit of aggression on either side, and like,
mate, she literally went like this to him, like literally launched forward at him.
I watched it. I watched it again. I then got my partner and watched it together a third time, and I was just like, how did
I
she
remember just
manage?
looking at slow-mos of the water going.
I just think the water to me was less of a thing than the amazing gaslighting.
Such an incredible strategy. He's talking about how he's confronting her, saying, "Why did we betray the vote? Why didn't you vote for Sam?" And she's just like, "How's the bread today? Are we adding a bit more salt?"
Oh my god, yeah. And the thing is, I'll be honest, Joas was annoying me at some point because I was like, he's so like, it just seemed like, you know, when they didn't choose him for a task, he was like, "They don't like me," and blah blah. I'm like, bro, they don't know you. They've known you for like not even a day or however long you've been there. And then when this happened, I genuinely felt, because have you ever tried to get your point across? And it's so frustrating because she was just literally like, it didn't exist, and he was being crazy, and I felt sorry for him at that point. I was just like,
and yet, if this was strategy, this was genius. I hate to admit it.
Yeah, that's what gaslighting is. And actually, you know, I'm not criticizing Sophie Corcoran the person, but I am saying this is an effective strategy that people use even in political discourse to deny someone else their point of view. If I don't meet you on your battlefield, I never have to prove that you're right or wrong. She knew he was in the right, so she refused to meet him in battle and just gaslit him.
And it was very political. You could
Yeah.
tell that she's into politics, right?
Yeah, because that was peak Tory strategy. Let's be honest.
Yeah, just answer a different question repeatedly. I mean, it was amazing.
Wilf, what about you? What's your favourite moment of this past week?
So my favourite moment follows that very, very quickly. So there's a part where they offer them an extra $5,000 to the pot, and all they have to do is get rid of a grafter, yeah? And Sophie's just like, oh, this is great. Yeah, I'm going to... Like, you could just see the, like, power in her eyes. She just literally wanted to just get rid of one, which I agree with.
Would you not have taken it?
It depends, innit, on the relationships you have down at the basement and how that they are going to... If somebody you don't like is down in the basement who could be a ruler and ruin your plan, then yeah.
In the basement at that point, we had Rachel, Isaac, Ramona, Matt, Sam, and Connor. Do you send anyone home?
Yeah, I'd send Connor home. I think that he's been in there 3 times. He went in there at the beginning, he became a ruler, then he came back. He's had 3 opportunities of being
He's
there.
got a lifetime pass to the left. He just goes up and down.
Like, I love the guy. I think he's great, and I think I found some parts of him. You know the bit where he was doing Alan Carr? I think he'd be amazing to be in a basement with because he's so
really funny.
Because he's fun. So, but at the same time, you just think, look, he's been up here. Like, he's been down there twice. Like, he's had his time. Like, I think...
Ivan, do you send anyone home?
For me, you've got to think about what the long-term effect is of whether you can win or not. Because at this point, they're days away from winning. You can start to think about whether you're going to win. If you send home a grafter, the grafters will, of course, because it's the way the game works, they'll have told them, oh, this person's gone home because this happened and these people sent them. So you would then make yourself very unpopular with the grafters. And we know that the grafters could have the ultimate power at the end of the show because there's so many twists. So basically, the only time I'd have sent a grafter home in that situation is if there was a really unpopular one that everyone hated and they just all wanted to get rid of.
I would do the same thing as Sophie. You're 3 days away from ending the game. One of them is not coming up to the penthouse. You might as well get the extra $5,000.
If you're allowed to give your reason and justify yourself to the grafters, maybe that makes sense.
But people would appreciate that it's extra money, and the grafters really... We've seen in the past and in workshops that grafters value money a lot more than the rulers seem to think.
Yeah, and when Ali went home on day 1, somebody was like, that's one less person to compete against. So, yeah.
Ryan, what is your favourite moment so far?
Oh, you know what? I've got to go for this insane moment when a man's penis cost us 14 grand. I'm sorry, that's what it came down. No, it's a horrible way of putting it. I take that back.
Yeah, no, it was basically ego.
It was a mix of ego. It was a mix of strategy because they knew that whoever gave up first was just putting themselves in a losing position. It was a mix of ego, of strategy, and a bit of love. Yeah, probably. It was just like batshit. The fact that they just stood there and they stood there long enough that the producers were like, yeah, $1,000 a minute is not enough. Let's go for 5. It's
That's
just
so
mad.
mad, isn't it?
We're running out of film in the camera.
quick, just make it $5,000. But the thing is, yeah.
Craig James was just standing in the gallery having his dinner. He was like, yeah, guys, I've got to go home. I've got the breakfast show at 6. I need to get a good 2 hours of sleep.
That's the point where I really, really started disliking Jack. Like, from the moment actually he was up there and he went to Marina, yeah, I'm good. Like, he was so cocksure of himself. He's like, yeah, don't worry, the grafters love me. Everyone up here loves me. He basically said that to Marina at some point, yeah, when she came up. And I was just like, I'm not sure if I'm liking Jack's movements. And then when he did this, when he just sat there, like, I was like, he's doing it for love, I think. But is it love? Like, she's not worth $5,000 a minute.
The thing is, like, he couldn't win. He had to take her up because otherwise he was losing the majority in the rulers and he was losing the game. But by doing this, he was inevitably going to get voted off.
there was something so fascinating that because they described weakness in Connor changing his mind when he voted for Marina back in week 2, from then on,
Yeah.
anyone who changed their mind about anything, that was immediately weakness. Actually, in that situation, the strongest thing, the thing that grafters would have really appreciated is for someone quite quickly, quite early on, maybe after £1,000 being lost, be like, I'm the only one here who cares about the money because I want someone to win lots
And
of
guess
money.
what? Even if you do it, you come back anyway.
I know. I changed my vote, and like it would have been such a good leadership move to be like, on behalf of anyone who wants a big prize, I will change my mind. I don't care who it is who's with me up here in the leadership position because someone's got to win a large amount of money. And in the end, Connor did it and chucked his thing out, and yeah, he came back 4 minutes later.
Yeah,
But
literally,
actually,
like straight away. Like, because I went to the toilet and came back, yeah, and he was grafting it, and I swear on my life, and I was just like, I thought I might. Somewhat, it went backwards in time. I was like, am I on the same episode? And I was like, he's back.
There were a fair few minutes in between. Did you go for like a massive shit or what? Yeah, no, we all know you got stuck into an obviously fake lift somewhere near the penthouse.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, clearly loads of iconic moments in this past week, which takes us to the final, which we'll be talking about next week. And I've got to ask, let's make our dream final penthouse. Who do we want up there?
Can I pick first?
Go on, Will.
Yeah.
It's like picking a football team. I'm going to pick Matt.
Ooh, interesting.
Good choice. Good choice.
Second spot, I've got a soft spot for Isaac. He's in there, top in the penthouse. Love him. Brilliant man.
I'll go for an easy number 3. Eddie. Eddie's got to be up there.
Oh, a bit of Cleddy.
Oh, I love a bit of Cleddy. So right now we've got Eddie, we've got Isaac, and we've got Matt.
Right, Ryan, you pick next.
I don't know how they're going to pick the winner, and so on that basis, I want to make it easier for the people we've picked so far. Sophie.
What?
Okay,
Nobody's going to vote for her to win, so it's just making it easier for the other 3.
I'm putting in Sam. I think Sam needs a chance up there.
Oh,
could easily
brilliant woman.
slip it. Yeah. Sam's number 5.
Oh.
Will.
Who have I got left?
Yeah, done it.
Who have I got
I've
left?
done you there, haven't I?
Yeah, you done me. This is really hard because I would have said Rossi last week, but I didn't. I've just changed my mind on him a little bit.
He's all right.
Yeah, I know, but
I know. You know, I didn't like how he was basically Jack's pawn. Like, he would just follow Jack wherever they took him.
I'm going to say Moses, I think.
Yeah.
He's been sort of true to himself.
He's a good lad.
He seems like a nice guy. So, and I like that he came up and was like, I've never really experienced any sort of luxury, really. So I know, for me, that's like hits home. So I think Moses. So who's our final 6?
Matt, Sam, Moses, Sophie, Eddie, and Isaac. You know what I'm going to say next? You're going to have to pick one of them. Who do you want to win?
I'm going steady with Eddie. I'm going steady. It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
I'm going to say Isaac because he genuinely made me cry my eyes out when his letter got read out. So I'm going to say Isaac.
I'm going to say Matt then because I think he's a good... Oh, Sam. No, Sam really... I feel like we haven't seen...
You literally... I've seen your mind change then. I actually visually seen your brain.
It's because, like, look, Sam's got the right attitude. I really like Sam. She's got a great life story as well, but we haven't seen enough of her. You know what? Because we haven't seen enough of her, sadly, I'm going to go Matt.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, look, guys, we're recording this on Tuesday night, so let's be honest, we do not know who wins the game and how this ends. So just out of curiosity, I want to know, who do you think is going to win for real? Wilf?
I wanted Isaac to win, but I genuinely think it could be Eddie. I think I think if the previous rulers have to choose or something like that, I think that they would choose him because he's just a really good guy. Seems like it anyway.
Yeah. Eddie with the lead piping in the drawing room. It's got to be, yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be Eddie. Realistically, I can't see anyone else winning this. Eddie's got it in the bag.
Eddie is Cleddy.
Look, guys, enough chit-chat. Let's just talk to James and Marina. They've been 2 of the most iconic players from the series of Rise and Fall, and they're joining us now. If you haven't been paying attention, both James and Marina joined the basement on day 1 and quickly formed a strong alliance. Marina rose her way to the top, and she kept her promise. She helped James rise. Together, they were unbeatable. Well, until a surprise Red Room betrayal came along, which led to Marina falling. James kept his head up with a calm, cool, and collected demeanor, silently but surely dominating strategies. And then the ultimate clash happened. Jeff and James went for each other's jugular, and when the elders could not decide which of the two should go home, they both took a final trip down the lift. Hello, James and Marina. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having us.
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Honestly, it's so good having you guys. We just loved you on the show. You really were the two most iconic players from this game. And I'm going to ask, how did it feel being on Rise and Fall? OG's first series. How did that feel?
Oh, well, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, I was one of the first to walk into that mixer at the beginning. And I was kind of just walking around the room being like, oh my gosh, what have I just signed up for? And it's really funny, actually, because when James arrived, like literally James and I straight away just hit it off. And there is a scene which they don't put in where it's James, Connor and I all cheers to being the first three to rise to the penthouse.
And you were the first three to rise.
Yeah.
The Alliance was born on the first day.
Yeah.
How is it, James?
I mean, it was so epic. I've never done anything like this. Like, I'm like a small town Welsh boy from like South Wales, and to go into something so grand and like spectacular from the offset, it was incredible. And like as Marina said, we walked into that mix, and I think I must have been like the 10th person to walk in. I was like, hello everybody, and I was like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. And then Marina was the first one to see me, and I think she did like 5 glasses of champagne at that point. She was like the loudest one in the room, and I'm not gonna lie, at that point I thought, oh, who is she? But then we quickly became very we quickly formed that alliance, and me, Connor, and Marina literally like chinked our glasses together. It was like, oh, should we be the first alliance? And lo and behold, it happened.
So you created that alliance, and it was, as you say, the first one that kind of worked, but it didn't last.
Yeah.
They
No,
don't seem to last. When did you guys get the first impression that things were falling apart?
I think for Marina and I, actually,
Yeah.
I think it was when Connor rose, right? And in the daytime, before obviously the the elimination, Connor wouldn't answer a straightforward question. So me and Marina every time would be like, what's he doing? He's not answering the question very well. He's like, is he going against the Alliance? What are we going to do? And then instantly he was like, right, we're going to have to go for Matt. And then as the day progressed, me and Connor had a couple of conversations, which obviously weren't shown. And he was like, oh no, I'm going to go for Matt. I'm going to go for Matt. So I was like, okay, perfect, fine. I'm chill. I'm going to be fine, obviously. And then when you get in that red room, as you know, when you obviously go on that round table, everything just crumbles, and you have to just sort of focus on what's happening there and then in that room. And for me, I was like, oh my God, Matt's doing the best argument I've ever heard on this red table right now. What am I going to do? Am I going to keep with my alliance and look like an absolute idiot to the grafters? Or do I stick to my guns and just think, you know what? I'm going to go for Marina and just look good to the grafters.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously didn't expect that at all. But that was the first sign of it breaking, was when Connor came up, and I go to James and I'm like, what's he doing? Because he said something like, yeah, I'm used to stabbing my co-workers in the back. I find my best friend. I'm like, fucking hell. I was like, well, this isn't looking good. I'm like, this is not looking good, James. And then we were speaking, and actually we were getting ready to go to the red room, and I look at James, and I'm like, I know I'm going home. I say that to you, don't I? I knew it.
I was like, no, you're not, it's fine, you're not, it's okay.
I didn't think you were going to vote for me, but I knew that I thought Matt and Connor maybe, because I just didn't, but I knew.
One thing I wanted to say, so you were talking about like when you first enter, and you're all like, you're really nervous, you're like, what have I done?
Yeah.
Like Marina, I was thinking, right, I remember going on the train for the first time and meeting John, and I was like so intimidated by this guy. I was like, oh my God, he's so strong, he's this, he's like, his head's screwed on. Like, but I was like, well, I'm nearly 30 years old, I can't even imagine of being able to do that at 18 years old. Like, how did you feel when you first went there? And was there anybody that stood out?
Who do I find intimidating? Oh gosh, I don't know. Even though I'm young, I'm quite a confident soul.
What?
No.
Couldn't tell.
We could definitely tell.
You know what? Rashika. It was Rashika, because every person that came in, she would like go up to them and she'd give them a whole interview. Like, quite, what do you do? Why are you here? And I was kind of more like enjoying the champagne. Yeah, I love your outfit. You were looking great. And she was straight in. She was assessing the situation from the first second.
you do have people like when you first go in, you have one of two people. You have one person who goes there and just has friends with it, makes friends with everyone. Then you always got somebody who's just like interrogating every single person. Like, what do you do for work? How tall are you?
She was on a mission. She was absolutely on a mission. I was like, I'm just gonna run away from her.
She was on an absolute mission. It was insane. Can I just say, you know, you obviously know Joanna. She scared the shit out of me when I first met her. Because I walked in, I had a glass of champagne, I went to like shake her hand, and she hugged me and goes, "Oh, well, aren't you beautiful? I'm going to climb you like a tree against that wall." And I was like, Joanna, you don't want to stay in the white t-shirt, do you? Or my white shirt? And she goes, "Oh, I don't care about that." I was like, "Yeah, but I'm a bit precious. I'm not like that. I'm precious." And she was like, "Oh, you one of those?"
Whoa! This is news right here. This is huge.
Yeah. This is Ryan type of news. Ryan loves this. Look at his face.
I'm loving this. The secret couple of the basement. It wasn't all about Sydney and Jack. James and Joanna is where it's at.
Climbing each other like trees.
No, but she's trying to climb me, and I'm like palming her off. Like, it's not going to go very well for you.
First impression strategy is really hard. I think my first day in the traitors was spent whispering like, "Hey, let's be a little secret team," to like every single person, which I thought was a really good idea. But of course, everyone forgets within an hour which secret teams are on, because you're all on a bloody secret team with each other, and they all mean nothing.
Let's ask you too about that, you guys. Like, did you have a specific strategy? Like, did you have an actual game plan going in? And what was it? Or did you just walk in and say, "Yeah, whatever happens, happens"?
I didn't have a game plan as soon as I walked in. I thought, right, I'm going to go in, be myself. I've got this far as myself. I'll just be myself all the way throughout. And then, and you have to remember, this game, like you guys, this has never been done before. So no one knew how the game was going to work. So I thought, I'm going to have to wait and see how the game is played out. And then quickly sort of realize, right, in order to get to the top, you're going to need to prove yourself to the grafters. And then once you sort of, as I kept saying, infiltrate your way to the top, you're sort of secure for enough time to get at least two of you up there. And then you can form more secret fake alliances, which, you know, that's how I thought the game would go. So there was loads of like alliances. There was probably like a top 6 of an alliance built in the basement that didn't really get shown. And it was definitely Connor, Marina, myself, Jack, Sydney. That's 5 in it. And Joanna. And then I think that plan for me failed when we ended up going for Jack and Jack instead of Jack and Sydney. Because if those two were up there, I'd probably, well, I don't know what I can say. I probably wouldn't have been eliminated, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I think for me was that you just had no idea how the game was going to work. Obviously, we knew the basic outline, but as James said, we were season 1. And, you know, the whole concept of rise and fall, I thought if you were at the top and you would fall back down to the basement. But obviously I knew it was really safe to kind of stay as a grafter.
I mean, I don't know how safe it is. You got to stay away from glasses of water.
But I said what we need to do is we need to have a voice between the basement and the penthouse, because we didn't have that at the very beginning. I said, I think I'd be quite good at communicating that. And I thought I would be. And I think I was. I think I was good at that.
I think you was probably one of the best. I think you two guys as rulers, in my opinion, were the only ones that truly like stayed true to grafters. Like everybody else who went up was just like went all weird. Like Jack went weird, bro. I was like, what's going on? What's Jack done? Like,
in that case, I'm going to ask, how did you feel being in that penthouse? Because we saw the penthouse changes people. How did you feel up there? Did you feel like it changed you?
I think. I mean, for me, I've never had I've never been responsible for anyone in my life. You know, I'm 18. So I don't have any kids or really any responsibilities in my life. So it's kind of the first time that I was responsible for anyone's kind of welfare. And you just have to kind of step into those shoes. It's a big change, and everything the way that it's crafted. You know, the red room being red, it being up on a stage. You know, and I think everything is just so intensified. The music that plays when you go into the red room, you just have to step into those shoes. And I think, and then when someone has a go at you, you're like, I understand where you're coming from. However,
I want to talk about red room strategy, right? Because as you know, my thing is like that lovely crunchy numbers game. And on those afternoons, evenings, moving on, like approaching those red room votes, what were your strategies in terms of gauging numbers, working out where you stood with those numbers, and then trying to play the numbers to your advantage? I think, to be fair, James, I think you did slightly better than Marina at this. And weirdly, Connor did remarkably well in quite a few ones where he should have gone home. And like, I guess my question is, How inevitable was it? And also, in those cases, did you feel like you had any power in changing those votes, and if so, how?
I personally think like a lot of us took the red room as like the final decision maker. Not gonna lie, like there was times where, like I said, I thought, oh, I'm gonna go for Matt, and then I ended up going for Marina just because they argued the case so much better. And then when there's three grafters sat there against three rulers, and one of those grafters are immune, if that alliance is there, you're technically going to be safer unless you're Marina, basically, because of what happened, right? But then the same thing happened to me, right? There was two. It was Rossi and Moses. They were both immune, right? And they couldn't come to a decision, so I was unsafe then because of other strategies, other alliances. And can I just say, Connor, I didn't know anyone else was going to vote for you. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You knew exactly what was going to happen. Thank you very much. And he was the reason. I was the reason he got saved in one of those red rooms.
Yeah,
I
you were.
defended him and said he's made one mistake. And then Jack was like, actually, yeah, you have. Cheryl, you're loud and annoying. Off you go.
I love what he says to you, yeah. He goes, honestly, James, I would never speak about you behind your back. I'd say it right now. But he literally, like 5 minutes earlier, was like talking to Moses and that, I think, talking about voting you off.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. Me and Jack were like playing football with this weird pillow, and I was like, oh, Jack, you and me are really close, and I'm really happy we're here. Like, we'll have to get rid of Connor because he's asked us to go. And I literally sat down at one point and I said, Connor, if you're asking me to go, right, and at this stage in the game, I'm probably the strongest ruler. You are the weakest ruler. I love you to bits. But someone who needs to come up and take your place who's going to be stronger than you, it has to happen. If you're going to want to go, I'm going to just say, yeah, go.
I get that. So talking about people in there, yeah, and it is just a game, right? Remember that, yeah?
Yeah, let's just remind everyone it's just a game. What people do in this show is not a representation of who they are as people. They are just playing the game and they're making good TV.
It depends who you bring up for me. But,
100%.
But that said...
with that said, right? In the game, remember, it's a game, yeah? Who, apart from not Jeff, we're not allowed to say Jeff, we know that story, okay? Is there anybody else that you just didn't like in the game?
I really need to think about this.
I just want to say, I am civil with every. I mean, I'm really close with a lot of people on the show, even people that I've had.
Hey, you.
I'm carrying on, James. Wait a second.
Hey, you though.
I'm close with a lot of people on the show, and I'm civil with everyone, apart from I don't have any contact with Jeff. But that's that. But Rashika and I on the show didn't really mesh. She just wasn't really my cup of tea, and that's fine. I was happy to that's part of just living with people, I got used to it and whatever. And coming out, I very much go, yeah, it's a game, whatever, let's, move on. I think...
Which is fair enough.
She maybe struggles a bit to define the two. I was doing a live yesterday and I kind of said, the whole "you're good" thing came off, and I was like, I saw that on the previous one, for fuck's sake, And then she was commenting yeah, sure you meant it like that, sure. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just like, and it's just, I like how we've seen each other since, and we do get on, but I just think the show is such an intense environment. Even if someone slightly throws you off, it's blown into so much bigger than it actually needs to be.
Well, all your emotions and everything are all enhanced by 100 times to what it would be in real life. Like, that's what I found.
Yeah.
So you find yourself a lot more angry when you probably wouldn't have been angry, and then you find yourself more emotional.
And you know what? The thing is, you've just come out of the show, and so you've got to appreciate it because it's still so fresh for you guys.
And we're watching it 2 weeks after we've just finished it, so a lot of those emotions are still really raw. So it's a bit like PTSD. Yeah. The one episode where I voted Marina out, right? I couldn't sleep for ages because I was like, shit, I felt so bad then, and I feel so bad now. Even though we talked loads after it was like PTSD almost.
Yeah, I felt the same. I remember when I backstabbed Alyssa, and I remember I couldn't sleep. I felt so guilty. And that night, when it was aired, I felt guilty. So for some reason, I was like, go on Twitter for it quickly. I went on Twitter, and oh my God, I was destroyed on Twitter, and then it made me worse. I couldn't sleep. So I understand where you're coming from.
It got dredged up again, didn't it, for us?
So I need to get back onto a question. because I didn't hear it. I don't know if you glitched out, James, or avoided the question. So who was your least favourite? That's not Jeff.
Yeah, James, come on.
All I've got to say is Jeff who. Sorry, Jeff who.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to give you two of the people I sort of for the game, right? First one was me with Cheryl. I found her to play the game was quite great in, and she's very loud and she's lovely. Don't get me wrong, but in terms of the game, like loudness needs to like happen at some point, not all the time, right?
I love Cheryl.
Yeah, I live. All my family are Scousers, so I understand, man. Like when I'm with my aunties and my mum, they're so loud. I'm like,
no, I do love her, but then I also found like everyone kept saying, "Oh, we've brought this much money to the table," and it got to the point where I was like, "Yeah, but your impulsiveness can't be classed as calculated risks because if that 1 second ran over, you would be gone." And there were the times where we had to speak to each other about how good we are as rulers, and I'd say, "Oh, I'm so proud of us. We've done amazing today." Yeah, and Cheryl would be like, "Yeah, I've done absolutely amazing. I'm so proud of myself as a ruler. I've done so good."
I love that though. That's so funny.
Yeah, I did great.
I think she's hilarious. I think she's absolutely hilarious.
Literally.
But Marina, didn't you do that once though?
Yeah, you did,
Somebody
Marina.
pressed the button
Yeah, I
and he was
did.
like, yeah, we made a great decision there, and I was like, you did the best, Marina.
I think the other person I sort of didn't get on with was I would probably say Sophie, and that was only because I found that when it came to playing the game, she was very much focused on how she was going to look during the game, and that really bothered me. So obviously I sort of went for her during the dog food eating task, and I was like, pick up a fucking tablespoon, drop the teaspoon, and pick up a tablespoon. And she's like, "Oh, that's not a very good thing of a leader, blah 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 blah." And I was like, "Well, a leader asks for help off their team, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now." And you're like, objectifying the help sort of thing. I found there was very much like all for one and not one for all.
But you know what? I never thought I'd ever talk to somebody who's eaten dog food in their life. I actually find this fascinating.
Oh, I don't know, mate. Any dog owner will tell you. You take a nibble of the dog biscuit to make sure it's not like
Are you serious, bro? I've never eaten a dog biscuit in my life. I've had dog all my life.
Never.
I got my dog some little treats, and they said peanut butter and salmon, and I was like, "That's a funny combo. Let's see what that's like."
Are you joking?
No, I'm genuinely serious.
You guys call that a work shift. Oven just calls his dinner.
Yeah.
Now, because we've talked about the least favourite, and I'm a man who's all about love. So I've got to ask you, who in there was your one, or maybe two, I'll give you two, best friends, your rocks, the people you could count on?
Oh god.
Let's start with you, Marina.
For me, out of all the rulers, Cheryl was definitely my favourite. We just got on so well. We literally FaceTime every day. And Darcy to be our bridesmaid, which is just crazy.
Oh my god!
So yeah, no, Cheryl and I definitely really close. And in there, oh my gosh, they didn't air this, but we had this massive pillow fight. And literally, like, she broke their headboard, I threw a pillow at her, we smashed a bar.
Oh my god.
What is it with people on Studio Lambert shows and smashing vases? I think we lost 2 or 3. Yeah.
So funny.
I don't know why they don't show that stuff. That's going to make us fall in love with you. I think I remember saying on an episode of this podcast, like, we haven't had enough opportunities to like these guys. And, like, I want to watch you have a pillow fight and break stuff. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It was mental. And then, oh my god, there was another time where she got given this dress to wear, and it was like this like net dress, and we pretended that she was a fish, and I like chucked it at her, reeled her in. She was like bobbing along like a fish. It was hilarious. We just get on so well. We're just really close.
And out of the grafters?
So for me, out of the grafters, Joanna's definitely my favourite, honestly. Like, we just get on so well. And since we finished, actually, Harry and I went to watch the boat race and then went for our cheese fondue afterwards, which we talked about the whole time in there. We were like, really want a cheese fondue. So yeah, I love her. I think she's so fun. So
James
cool.
is close with her too.
James, what about you? Favourite grafter, favourite ruler?
Oh, okay. A favourite grafter for me was Sydney, Little Sidders. Honestly, we were so close. And like the day I rose, they didn't show this. We were obviously talking in bed when we woke up. And she whispers to Jack by here, and she goes, "Oh, I hope James doesn't go up. He's my best friend in here."
Oh,
and I was like,
cute.
and that really broke my heart. But like I kept saying to her, like, whatever happens, listen to those messages that you get from the rulers. Like, I'm going to tell you, I've got you every single time. And I did. Like, the first message I gave, you've seen, like, say, I've got you, we've got you.
Did you ever get cringed out when they were like all over each other? Ever? Like, honestly, like, don't lie.
I mean, the first time they got in bed together, I was sort of sat facing away, and I was like, we're not in Love Island. I thought, oh my god, this is the only show I didn't want to be in, and we're in Love Island. But you quickly get used to it, though, don't you? Like, I clocked it. I was like, ugh. A favorite ruler, like, out of everyone who rose, the way it sort of played out, like, I think me and Jack were actually pretty close, and he was my favorite up there because we had each other's backs. Like, there was times where, like, for example, that flip the coin scene, right? Where I was literally there, like, doing my concealer, like, just, I'll touch myself up in case I get voted out. And then I can hear them laughing about, flipping the coin on me. So I ran out of that beauty room after Matt saw me, and I ran up the stairs, and I was like, Jack, I've just showed him they're going to flip the coin on me. What am I going to do? And he's like holding him on the shoulder. He's like, you're going to be fine. You've got this. I've got you. We're going to protect you. I was like, no, they're going to flip the coin. They're going to flip the coin. So, like, I ran to him every time I had, like, a bit of a panic attack. And he mellowed me out. I'd say he's like a bit of an older brother now, to be fair.
Marina, you clearly went in there with a quite a clear sense of what your leadership skills looked like. And do you feel like you got a chance to really show that in the game? Or do you feel like you didn't quite get, spread your wings enough as much as you wanted to, maybe?
I think it's very easy as a grafter to say, oh, I can do this, this, and this. And actually, when you get up there is actually so much you can't do just because it's such a busy day. There's actually very little time as a ruler to have those kind of conversations about strategy and alliances with people. And ultimately, that kind of was my downfall. You know, the day that I was eliminated, I was doing an overtime shift with Matt, and I didn't actually get to speak to James or Connor. And as soon as I got out, I was getting ready, out of the workshop, I was getting ready for supper, and then that was going on to the Red Room, So you're in that sense, I didn't have a chance to spread my wings and being able, because if I had that conversation, if James, Connor, and I sat down and go, look, we stick together, we could have got to literally to the end and by just sticking together, I think what was hard for me was when I came up, because I was the only kind of original grafter up there. There were things that I needed to say, and then it wasn't getting them on side because it was something they didn't necessarily like to hear. And that's really hard. At least if I had other grafter up there, they would have backed me. The whole thing is about the rewards. I wasn't saying let's not give them a reward. I just said, when I was down there was a conversation about us possibly sharing it, and I just get attacked.
To be fair, though, I did defend you at
you did.
running the red
and so did Connor as well.
I want to know, again, both of you, please, how would you play things differently if you got a chance to go back in there again? Ooh. Let's say it's Series 1 again. I'm not talking about, like, now we all know how the show works. How would you play it differently if you got to just live the whole thing Groundhog Day style from the beginning?
I just wouldn't have rose so fast, and that's it. That's the only thing I would not have done as quick as I did. I would have stayed and grafted a little bit longer, built those alliances stronger at the bottom, and then rose a little bit further into the game, because the way I played it until I got eliminated, I thought I did a good job. So I would have just stayed as a grafter that a little bit longer. That's it.
Well, honestly, that didn't make sense to me, actually. Like, now you're saying so. I remember when you rose, and I was like, why is he going up? Like, and even the rulers, why can't they think, actually, he's a really good grafter, keep him down there because we'll make more money with him?
Yeah. Marina, what about you?
Marina.
I think for me, it's probably the same as James. I don't think I have any regrets, because I think take any opportunity that comes your way. I got the opportunity to rise, and I put myself forward, and I rose, which is great. But I think I really enjoyed being a grafter, although it's really difficult. I do love just getting stuck into those kind of work shifts. They're really fun. I mean, granted, stuff a bit vile, but I think I would have loved to have got stuck in a bit more. But I don't regret going up. If I could change anything, it was probably being a grafter for a bit longer.
So given all that, then, do you think Eddie's done the best then, hasn't he? Because he's done exactly that. He's done the thing that you both wanted to do, which is stay down there, get really popular, and go up as late as he could.
I guess so, but then you don't know what twists and turns are going to come up as well.
While we're talking about work shifts, right? What was your favourite, least favourite? What was your favourite and least favourite work shift?
So I only did one, so I don't think I can.
Or the one you would have wanted
Really?
to do.
Okay. Let me think. The sewage one I think would be really fun. I mean, we get a bit mucky, and I'm not sure about having a cold shower afterwards to get rid of all the sewage. But
I like sewage. Yeah.
I wanted to sit in a cold bath so bad. I was like, I really
Yes,
wanted to do that. I don't know
actually.
why.
I just gotta say, right, during the electrician shift, Marina was like in front of me like this, and there's parts of that I watched it back the other day. You can hear me laughing at her getting electrocuted because she wasn't like screaming. She was like, it was like she's. I don't know if you're gonna hear this. She was like having the best orgasm of her life. She was like, ah, but it was just every time she was just like convulsing.
So that was your favorite work shift?
No. It was just funny. My favorite work definitely was for me. It was the animal food testing one. It was just hysterical. Don't get me wrong. It was disgusting. Like it was a true test of the gag reflex, but it was also like just funny to be next to Connor and Jack. Connor was crying his eyes out. Jack is literally breaking his neck trying to eat a fucking dog biscuit. And then I'm there like shoveling shit in my hands. Like it was just so messy and so fun.
A good lesson for anyone on the Studio Lambert show: you cannot have a sensitive gag reflex.
You took every mission, bro.
So what's next for you guys? What's coming next in your lives?
Do you know what? I'm just sort of taking it as it comes. Like, I would love to do more reality television. Love to do it. Like, I'm so like I feel at home when I'm behind the camera. Sorry, in front of the camera. Like, doing things like that. But I really want my own skincare brand, and I want to like do like collabs with like loads of skincare brands, and you know.
Please moisturize me.
Ryan.
Yeah, can your first client just be Ryan? Can you just cover him in moisturiser, please?
Like Studio Lambert's Speed movie.
Rise and Fall After Dark.
Yeah.
What about you, Marina? What's next for you then? Are you the next Prime Minister or?
No, I'm not sure where the whole Prime Minister thing has come from. A lot of people have been saying this. I'm probably the opposite of what you want out of a Prime Minister. But no, would love to go into to be a TV presenter or an actor. I've always been a performer, and I love people, love chatting to people. So yeah, destined to be on the screen or the stage. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what comes my way. And I think I might do a bit of travelling in Thailand in June. It'd be fun.
I think Aaron's in Thailand from The Traitors. Meet up with him.
He
I
is.
think he's in Thailand.
Yeah,
isn't
he's so good looking.
I'll pass it on. Welcome to Rise and Fall After Dark.
he?
But he never had as much fun getting electrocuted as you did, Marina. So I guess maybe, you know, that's...
Or you can show him how to be electrocuted. Just
Yeah.
go there and go, did you see me get electrocuted? Ah!
I think now's a good time to pull the plug.
Oh, that was a good one. I like that one.
Thank you so much, James and Marina, for joining us today.
Oh, you're legends.
James, final word.
I am the iconic queen diva, I think, now of Rise and Fall, and I'm gonna say now, I was the best ruler, point blank, ego or not.
Well, I mean, you just backstabbed me, so.
We can call you the indecisive bitch of season 1 if you want.
No, I'm the decisive bitch. That's Connor.
That's not what Jeff said. That's not what Jeff said.
Thank you so much for joining us, James, Marina.
Yeah, and good luck in your tax returns, James. They're going to be
Yeah,
complicated.
you beat me to it. No, that was my end line. I was waiting for that, Ivan.
Ivan, how many episodes did you last on The Traitors? How many episodes?
Oh, I don't know, mate. I don't know.
Oh yeah, sorry.
We'll have to look at combined viewers of each episode, shall we? And then we'll figure it all out.
This concludes our review of Rise and Fall for this week. We'll be back next week for one last episode on Rise and Fall, where we'll be chatting about the final. And in the meantime, if you're listening, give us a 5-star review, follow us. If you're watching, like and subscribe. And if you want to see who the sexy men hiding behind these voices are, you can follow us on social media at itsjustagame.podcast on TikTok and
You'll be
Instagram.
disappointed.
Until next week, I am Ryan. You can follow me on Instagram at @theGramofRyan.
I'm Marina Pownell on Instagram and TikTok. Feel free to follow me to watch what I get up to as a university dropout, which isn't much. It's a bit of fun. So yeah, go ahead and follow me.
Well, I'm James from Rise and Fall. Obviously, you can find me on my Instagram at James_Allen96.
I'm Will. Follow me on Instagram at Wilfred Webster Official, and TikTok is just Wilfred Webster. Simple.
I'm Ivan, and sponsor me for running a marathon for Samaritans, please, by going to www.sponsorivanforrunningsamaritans.net/please.
And from all of us here, see you next week and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.